Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Unfortunately, I didn't want to release the fourth video of the Terraria boss guide right now, but it was in fact supposed to be a Dead Cells video. I made everything, I made the thumbnail, but the footage got corrupted. Like it actually just froze and it just looked like the main screen for about 3 hours of footage. So you'll be watching the main menu for 3 hours straight. So I decided to just scrap it and just decide to do the Terraria fourth part. I have something big planned. If it happens, I'm gonna do actually I'm not gonna give you any teasers. Yeah, enjoy the video. If you think you like it or whatever, like the video. I'm just tired of begging for stuff. If you think it's worth it, subscribe or whatever. Have fun, enjoy. The next boss is the Skeletron and the Dungeon Guardian. Basically, no, Dungeon Guardian is someone else, but it guards a dungeon. You get the idea. To summon this boss, you need to first locate the dungeon. Dungeon is located on the same side of the world as your ice biome and the opposite side of your jungle. So for example, if your ice biome is to your east, well, the actual dungeon is also to your east, and vice versa. Once you find the dungeon, you see an old man in there. Literally, his name is Old Man. Once you talk to him in the night, you can see an option called Curse. Once you use that option, the boss gets spawned in. As for your setup, you definitely need the best armor you can get your hands on at this point for stage. Basically, your evil biome armor, shadow armor or crimson, or the obsidian outlaw armor for the summoners. For melee players, the blade of grass and enchanted sword would work really well, but I don't really recommend using them since melee is really bad in this play. For rangers, basically Molten Fury, but the best result is when you use the bees knee against this guy, because he has a weak spot for bees, but he's not the person really vulnerable to bees. For mages, the space gun is the only viable option at this point. And if you are really feeling like it and you feel like a daredevil, you can use Demon Sight Book as well. And for summoner, you can use a mix of Snapdoor plus the Hornet minions to take down this boss. Or if you are not liking the Hornet minions, you can also use the Vampire Frog. As for the arena, I recommend 3 long platforms parallel to each other above the dungeon. Also remember to flat out at the top of the dungeon as you can get stuck on it. If you want to increase your odds of winning, you can chuck some potions or add hard lanterns and campfires. And if you can, also add some bass statues. If you really want to increase your odds, you can also add pods of honey that you can dip in for extra regeneration. But basically, all that matters is that you have 3 long platforms really far from each other, 20 blocks away, and about 300 blocks long each. As for the strategies, first off, you can win the boss fight. Basically, you win the boss fight by destroying the head of the Skeletron. So basically the hands are a given, but the thing is, you won't deal any damage to the head if the hands are alive. You will deal such little damage that it's just best if you take down the hands. So first off, you want to target the hands and try to whittle down the hands both at the same time. Destroy both of the hands at the same time. After that, focus on the head. The head will constantly go into the spinning phase and try to ram you. That is the Skeletron's most devastating attack. If you're stuck on it on higher difficulties, it means absolute death. Since you don't have access to Cobalt Shield yet, that is game over for you. So keep your distance, destroy both hands, and start to take out the skeletron's head. This guy doesn't exactly have any drops you should look for, like absolutely nothing, because it has no good drops. Hand of the Skeletron, I guess it can be useful because it can be a good hook, but again, it sometimes drops, so if you get it, consider yourself lucky. But the biggest drop from this guy, or the biggest reward from this guy, is getting access to dungeon, which unlocks a lot of endgame pre-hard mode items. So that's the actual main reward, not the boss fight itself. Finally, in expert mode, Skeletron receives, I think, in pre-hard mode, the biggest buff. Basically, this guy, once at least one of the hands is down, starts to shoot homing skulls at you, which are incredibly difficult to dodge. I found the two best methods to actually dodge these two is, first off, actually whittle both of the hands down at the same time, so you don't have to deal with one of the hands while at the same time dodging the skulls. But you can also just spin around the boss. It will be difficult, but with the help of rocket boots you can manage to pull it off. If you do that, you are a winner. Remember, on expert mode, Skeletron hands inflict slow, which slows you down and makes it easier prey for the head. Head is also faster, the hands are faster, and once the head hits you, you get the bleeding debuff, which makes you unable to completely regen. Like, you cannot regen anymore. And as the expert drop, what you get, the bone glove. I don't really find that useful. Like, many people do, but I don't find it useful. So you've made it. You've beat all the pre-hard mode bosses, and you are facing the final challenge. Waffle. Wall of Flesh. In front of you is the final pre-hard mode boss that beating it will convert your world into hard mode. To summon this boss, you first need to head to the underworld. Just dig down until you reach that lava pit. Yes, the big lava pit. Once you're there, you see these demons. And some of these demons can actually have a doll with them. Killing these demons will drop their doll, and dropping that doll into the lava will cause the boss to spawn in. The second method to spawn the boss is to make a house over lava for the guide, and just destroying the floor and causing the guide to fall into lava. If the guide dies while in the underworld to lava, he will summon the Wall of Flesh. As for your setup, you need the best equipment you can get your hands on. For melee, it's going to be the Molten Armor. For melee players, I recommend the Dark Lance or the Sun Fury when using the range and trying to take out the minions called the Hungry, and when you want to actually deal damage to the boss, using Knight's Edge to closely deal a lot of damage. But Blade of Grass or the Volcano also work pretty well. As for rangers, the Phoenix Blaster or the Helvin Bow will work really well, but the surprise is here. You remember the B-nades I mentioned before? Yes, this guy is just absolutely gets demolished by bees. So you can use B-nades as much as you like against this guy, and this guy gets pummeled by them. If you're using a mage setup, again the Space Gun is your best bet, but Demon Scythe also works, whatever fits you. And as for Summoner, finally you can use your Spinal Tap against something, well, other than normal enemies and demons. Use your Spinal Tap plus the Vampire Frogs or the Imps that you got from the Hellstone that you mined before to take down this boss. Wall of Flesh's arena is going to be one of the biggest and one of the most time-consuming arenas you're ever going to build. Basically, head straight to the center of your underworld and pick a side towards east or west. Now, start building towards there with just platforms in a straight line. You'll bump into random houses and random houses. Mine through them. Don't skip them, don't go up and down. Just go in a completely straight line. Just cut through them, destroy the buildings, blow them up. If you come across ash hills, just blow them up. Just go in a straight line until you cross at least 1500 blocks. After that, you are ready for the boss fight. If you do find that short, you can add more, or if you find that long, well, good for you, you managed to beat the boss. Because it's so long, you don't actually need to place campfires, but if you're really struggling, you can place campfires along the way. And if you're really struggling, you can also put heart lanterns, but that would be a huge waste. The strategy against this boss is basically kill it before it kills you. There's no resting, there's no dodging. Basically, try to dodge its laser by jumping. That's the best I can give you. And using your rocket boots can really help you out. But remember, this boss, as its HP drops, will get faster and faster. You will not feel that on classic, but you will definitely feel that on expert, which we will talk in the expert section. But the strategy is basically deal as much damage as possible, take out the hungries as they drop hearts as well, and then just focus on the eyes. As the mouth has a lot of defense, you can definitely hit the mouth and you will deal a lot of damage, but the eyes don't have the defense. That's why you see a lot of YouTubers target the eyes over the mouth. Finally, the drops you want to look for are the emblems. Basically, this boss drops a weapon for each class. The firecracker may be useful to summoners, but other than that, I don't see any useful weapons for any classes. But the emblems are the important things that boost your damage to the specific class. So basically, you can get a melee emblem, you can get a ranger emblem, mage, or summoner emblem. So yeah, that's why people farm this guy for the emblems. But other than that, this guy doesn't exactly have any interesting drops. It's just a wall dividing the pre-hard mode and hard mode. And this is the first boss in the game that you cannot skip. In all the pre-hard mode, you could have skipped all these bosses, but this guy you have to beat. And finally, for expert changes, this boss gets faster, and I'm talking faster. As its HP drops, it starts to fire more frequently, deal more damage, and the shots, the lasers, will be having way more velocity and speed. It will, as its HP drops, it will also be much faster, so much so that you cannot even outrun it with speed boots. You can definitely see that in the footage down there. However, the drop that it has, the expert exclusive drop, is definitely worth it. The expert exclusive drop is the demon heart that upon consuming, you get a 6 accessory slot. Or basically an additional accessory slot on master mode, that's being the 7th accessory slot. So thank you for watching. God, this took forever to make. It took forever. God knows how long it took. So please subscribe for part 2. I really need it. I'm going to subscriber war with someone that has 24.5 times my subscriber count. Please help me. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.